Good evening students, we are once again back in a video lecture for class 10th English. I am Mahendra, faculty of MLZS JHANSI School for Accounts and English PGT. Children, we have done this chapter question of trust already in a Zoom lecture classes. But we will be revising it once again in a video lectures. So just pay attention. It's a very nice story. And hope you'll remember the story. Okay, thank you. We'll start with once again. Everyone thought that Horace did. This is a very nice story, question of trust, chapter number 4 of your book, Footprints Without Feet. Footprints Without Feet. It's a very nice chapter. In this chapter, there is one man. He is good, honest, and his name was Horace Danby. So he was a thief, but he was a very, he was respectable, he was good, but he was not completely honest. So he was a very respectable sort of thief. Okay? It is said that you must set a thief to catch thief, but it is also said that there is honor among thieves, which saying does this story illustrate. यानी thieves लोगों में भी एक बात की बात होती है. अब ये देखते हैं कि ये लोग वो बात रखते हैं या नहीं रखते. ठीक है. So we'll begin the story. So the name of the story is Question of Trust. Everyone thought that Horace Danby was good, honest citizen. He was about 50 years old and unmarried, and he lived with a housekeeper who worried over his health. In fact, he was usually very well and happy except for attacks of hay fever, a kind of fever which causes cough and cold. He made locks and was successful enough at his business to have two helpers. So he was doing good in the business of making locks. Okay. Yes, Horace Danby was good and respectable, but not completely honest. 15 years ago, Horace has served the first and only sentence. Yani he was in the jail. In the prison library, he loved rare, expensive books. This was his weakness, that he loved rare and expensive books. So he robbed a safe every year. Each year he planned carefully just what he would do. Stole enough to last for 12 months. कम से कम एक साल तक के लिए वो complete हो जाता था पैसा, इतना चोरी करता था वो. ठीक है? And secretly bought the books he loved through an agent. Now he directly never went to purchase the book. Through an agent he used to purchase the book. और agent को थोड़ा बहुत commission दे देता था. Now walking in this bright July sunshine, he felt sure that this year's robbery was going to be as successful as all the others. For 2 weeks he had been studying a house. Past 2 weeks, 2 हफ्ते से वो घर की स्टडी कर रहा था. At Shotover Grange, जैसे हमारे एरिया जैसे वेललाइंस है, खाती बाबा है, सीपरी है, आवास विकास है, ऐसे ही वहाँ पे एक जगह का नाम था Shotover Grange. Looking at its room with its electric wiring, its path and its garden. This afternoon, the two servants who remained in the Grange, while the family was in London, had gone to the movies. Horace saw them go and he felt happy in spite of little tickle of hay fever in his nose. So he was suffering with hay fever. So it is sort of a fever which make you sneeze a lot. बड़ी छींकें आती हैं इसमें. He came out from behind the garden and with his wall, his tools carefully packed in a bag on his back. There were about 15,000 pounds worth of jewels in the Grange safe. If he sold them one by one, he expected to get at least 5,000, enough to make him happy for another year. There were 3 very interesting books coming up for the sale this autumn. She was very, very excited for those books. Now he would get the money he wanted to buy them. He had seen the housekeeper hang the key to the kitchen door on the hook outside. He put on a pair of gloves, took the key and opened the drawer. He was always careful not to leave any fingerprint. A small dog was lying in the kitchen. Small dog means it was a pet dog. It stirred, made a noise and moved its tail in a friendly way, as if the dog was knowing that person from before. All right, Sherry, it was the name of the dog. Horace said as he passed. All you had to do to keep dogs quiet was to call them by the right names and show them love. So this was his trick. This was his, you can say, trade secret. The safe was in the drawing room behind a rather poor painting. Horace wondered for a moment whether he should collect pictures instead of books. But they took up too much room. Room मतलब space. उसने सोचा कि जैसे बड़े बड़े लोग, रईस लोग, पैसे वाले लोग पेंटिंग्स इकट्ठी करते हैं, रेयर पेंटिंग्स, तो शायद वो भी करने लगे. बट then he thought again that the paintings took a lot of space. In a small house, books were better. There was a great bowl of flowers on the table and Horace felt his nose tickle. वहाँ पे flowers थे और flowers की खुशबू से, fragrance से, his nose started tickling. He gave a little sneeze and then put down his bag. He carefully arranged his tools. He had 4 hours before the servants returned. They went for the movie. The safe was not going to be hard to open. After all, he had lived with locks and safes all his life. The burglar alarm was poorly built. He went into the hall to cut its wire. He came back and sneezed loudly as the smell of the flowers came to him again. How foolish people are when they own valuable things, Horace thought. A magazine article had described the house, giving a plan of all the rooms and a picture of this room. So he said that rich people are very, very strange and foolish. They themselves got the house plan printed in the magazine, in one of the magazines. The writer had even mentioned that the painting hid a safe, but Horace found that the flowers were hindering him in his work. He buried his face in a handkerchief. उसने रुमाल बांधा अपने चेहरे पर. Then he heard a voice say from the doorway, "What is it? A cold or a hay fever?" Before he could think, Horace say hay fever and found himself sneezing again. The voice went on, "You can cure it with a special treatment, if you find out just what plant gives you the disease." ये बीमारी से आप बच सकते हैं. आपको पता चल जाए कि किस पौधे की महक से आपको छींकें आती हैं. I think you'd better see a doctor. If you are serious about your work, I heard you from the top of the house just now. Then he said, it was quite kindly voice, but one with firmness in it. कह रहे मैंने ऊपर से आपको देखा आते हुए. A woman was standing in the doorway and Sherry was rubbing against her. Sherry was the name of the dog. She was young, quite pretty, and was well dressed in red. You can see the lady in the picture. Okay. She walked to the fireplace and straightened the ornaments there. "Down, Sherry, down," she said. "Anyone would think I had been away for a month." She smiled at Horace and went on. "However, I came back just in time, though I didn't expect to meet a burglar. Burglar is a thief." So उसने कहा कि मैं सही टाइम पे आ गई बेटा, शेरी, नहीं तो चोरी हो जाती हमारे घर में. Horace and some people, some hope, because she seemed to be amused at meeting him. He might avoid trouble if he treated her the right way. He replied, "I didn't expect to meet one of the families." उसने कहा कि मैंने नहीं सोचा था कोई family member होगा. She nodded. "I see what an inconvenience it is for you to meet me. What are you going to do now?" अब आप क्या करेंगे, मैंने आपको देख लिया. She nodded. "I see what an inconvenience." Horace said, "My first thought was to run." "Of course you can do that, but that I would telephone the police and tell them all about you. They'd get you at once." कह रहे तुम्हारा हुलिया वगैरह सब बता देंगे and then you will be caught by the police. Then Horace said, "I would of course cut the telephone wires first," and then he hesitated, a smile on his face. "I would make sure that you could do nothing for some time. A few hours would be enough." She looked at him seriously. "You hurt me." Horace paused and then said, "I think I was trying to frighten you when I said that." कह रहे मैं आपको डराना चाहता था. "You didn't frighten me," Horace suggested. "It would be nice if you would forget you ever saw me. Let me go. मुझे जाने दो और बेहतर होगा कि you should forget that you ever saw me." The voice was suddenly sharp. "Why should I? You were going to rob me. If I let you go, you will only rob someone else. Society must be protected from men like you." So this lady was becoming very good towards the society. Horace smiled. "I am not a man who threatens society. I steal only from those who have a lot of money. I steal for a very good reason. And I hate the thought of prison." कह रहा मुझे जेल पसंद नहीं है, मैं बहुत अच्छे रीज़न के लिए चुराता हूँ पैसा. She laughed and he begged. thinking that he had persuaded her. Look, I have no right to ask you for anything, but I am desperate. Let me go, and I promise never to do this kind of thing again. I really mean it. She was silent, watching him closely. Then she said, You are really afraid of going to prison, aren't you? She came over to him, shaking her head. I have always liked the wrong kind of people. She picked up a silver box from the table and took a cigarette from it. Horace, eager to please her and seeing that she might help him, took off his gloves and gave her the cigarette lighter. You'll let me go? He held the lighter towards her. Yes, but only if you'll do something for me. Anything you say, ma'am. Before we left for London, I promised my husband to take my jewels to a bank safe. But I left them here in the safe. I want to wear them to a party tonight, so I came down to get them. But, Horace smiled, you have forgotten the numbers to open the safe, haven't you? Yes, replied the young lady. Just leave it to me and you'll have them within an hour. But I'll have to break your safe. Don't worry about that. My husband won't be here for a month and I'll have the safe mended by that time. मेरे husband नहीं आएंगे और मैं safe ठीक करवा लूँगी. Don't worry about that. So this lady was very, very clever. Actually, this lady was another thief who was there to rob the jewelry. But she not only robs the jewelry but also befools Horace. And within an hour, Horace has opened the safe, given her the jewels and gone happily away. For 2 days he kept his promise to the kind young lady. One morning of the third day, however, he thought of the books he wanted and he knew he would have to look for another safe. But he never got the chance to begin his plan. By noon, a policeman has arrested him for the jewel robbery at Shotover Grange. His fingerprints, for he had opened the safe without gloves, were all over the room, and no one believed him when he said that his wife of the owner of the house had asked him to open the safe for her. The wife herself, a grey-haired, sharp-tongued woman of 60, said that story was nonsense. So the lady, जो actual wife थी उसकी, वो काफ़ी aged थी, 60 years की थी. And this girl, she was a thief who was very young. Horace is now the assistant librarian in the prison. Since he loved the book, so he was made an assistant librarian in the prison. He often thinks of the charming, clever young lady who was in the same profession as he was and who tricked him. He gets very angry when anyone talks about the honor among thieves. So I think children, you must have understood the story. It's a very nice story. इसको बोलते हैं चोर पर मोर. Thank you children. Have a nice day.